Welcome to Enlighten Up, your go-to podcast for all things spiritual with a sprinkle of sass.
I'm Santana.
And I'm Nicole.
Together, we're here to guide you through the cosmic currents and metaphysical mysteries, blending wisdom with wit as we explore the paths to inner peace, self-discovery, and everything in between.
Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just curious about what's out there, we're thrilled to have you on this journey with us. Let's dive into the magic.
Our podcast is going to be about bending the norm to spiritual views and calling out trends that cloud people from trusting their own vibes.
I want to shed light on the spiritual community, creating false narratives and encouraging people to expand their minds and learn that it is okay to question.
Before we get started, if you are loving what you hear, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a glowing review, and share this podcast with your fellow spiritual seekers.
And join our Facebook community to share input and conversations on topics we discuss or ones you'd like to hear about. Your support helps us spread the light and keep the cosmic conversations flowing. Now, let's get into it.
So this episode, Nicole and I will discuss the spiritual world as we call puppies and rainbows, where we find that people get caught up in the trends and things they're told in readings or healing sessions. It's about not following blindly, and that it's okay to question and find information that resonates with you. So what do you feel about that, Nicole? And we've talked about these types of topics in lengths and how frustrating it is.
It is so frustrating. I think that we need to burst some bubbles here because the spiritual world, the healing worlds, all of it, the entire universe is not puppy dogs and rainbows. We're not here for that. So I think we need to get people really thinking outside the box and stop following blindly.
Yeah, I find people get too caught up in the rituals of cleansing crystals on full moons and doing this, but they don't really understand what they're doing, why they're doing it. Does it actually resonate with you? Or are you doing it because you see someone you follow doing it? Mm-hmm. Like, exactly. I used to be that person. I would be like, oh, gotta get, that's Jade crying if anyone hears that. I was the one that would say, oh, I gotta take my crystals out and cleanse them in the moon, even though to me it didn't resonate because I didn't understand how the moon was cleansing crystals.
Well, exactly.
Because we were told it was.
Yeah, just following blindly.
Yeah, where's the proof?
Who told you this, and why do you have to follow them? Why do you have to do what they say?
Exactly.
We all resonate at different energies. Different things work for us.
Exactly.
Right? So one thing that we wanted to touch base on is like readers.
Yes.
Right? When you go and get a reading and they say, you need to do this. This is what's going to happen if you don't. This is what you have to do. It's almost like a scare tactic in the spiritual world.
And I've had lots of people that have come through my doors that have been shaken up by readings like that. And they're like, I don't know what to do. So you have that conversation is that it's okay to question. If that reading didn't resonate with you, dive into it a little bit more. What was the message they gave you? Don't take everything they say as gospel.
Exactly.
It is their interpretation of the energy that you brought to the table. It doesn't mean that these people are knowing everything that's going to happen in your life, because you are the only one that's in control of your destiny and your path.
Exactly.
If you go left instead of right, you completely will change
everything,
right?
If you pick blue instead of purple, you're going to change everything.
Exactly.
A reader is only telling you what's happening in the moment of you sitting at that table.
Yeah.
So if they're going to tell you about other people that aren't there, that can't happen. They're not there. There's no energy. They're not present, right?
Exactly.
So they can't give you these scare tactics without you going, okay, how do I change it then, right? Yes. So they don't give you that advice, though. They just set you up and send you out.
And then you're going, now what?
And then you're lost and confused. And I feel like sometimes it's a tactic to get them to come back, because now they're like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yes.
But you don't have to listen to other people and what they said. Your message, your reading does not have to be reality, right?
And it's about taking that message and saying, okay, if they give you a message about a relationship you're in, and they're like, I do believe readers will have that vibration, and everyone has their own abilities, and they do have a message in there. It's when they tell you it's factual or that you have to do this, have to do that. Teaching people outside of that, it's okay to say, okay, yes, I need to look at this information a little bit deeper. And if it is a relationship that's not healthy, how do I move through it?
Right. Is it something that can be fixed for me?
Right.
Or is it something that I need to end? Your reader can't tell you that part. Your reader can tell you, you know what, I can tell that this person's energy is heavy on you, or they can tell you that they can see this going south, blah, 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 but they cannot tell you factually that it is bad for you.
Exactly.
You only know that. only you know how bad it is.
Yes.
Right? So yes, you're going to carry that vibration, but they cannot tell you factually how that relationship's going to end.
Exactly. And it's up to you to decide when you walk out that door. If you know in your heart that that relationship you're in, or whichever the situation is truly, you already know going in, it's just someone is validating that energy.
Exactly.
That you probably already knew deep down inside.
Exactly.
So you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I know I've been sitting on the fence, but now what do I do with that info? And that's where I find people, they get stuck on doing rituals, or they get stuck on, well, I need a crystal for this, or I need a crystal for that. You know, I actually had a lady that came in the other day and saying, like, she's like, you know, I'm told that my sacral chakra is blocked, and you know, so I need stuff for sacral chakra. I said, okay, that's great. But what does that mean?
What does that mean for you?
Where's the root cause?
Yeah.
So let's dive into, okay, if you have sacral issues, okay, but where's the root cause of the sacral issue?
What caused that
Is this
blockage?
a trauma? Is this, is this something to do with self-worth? Like, what is it? So we actually went through and worked through some of the Earth Keeper sprays, which I love working through. Instead of getting her just like, oh, pick a spray that resonates with you. No. We went through and picked some sprays that possibly could be relate to what she's experiencing.
Yes. Instead of just jumping into straight sacral chakra, you need to pick it apart.
And I let her feel the energy, sense what was working, and you know what it ended up being? Safety.
Yeah.
She needed to feel safe.
Yeah.
So you tell me how that was a sacral related.
Yeah.
No one would have thought that.
No.
But it is a sacral related, feeling safe.
Yes. So
Feeling
that's
safe.
and right, that's your root
Right.
chakra feeding into your sacral chakra.
Exactly.
Because it's going to trigger those
And
emotions.
she never even thought that. She
Yep.
was trying to buy like
Abandonment.
tourmaline and all these crystals for blocking negative energy. And this is why I tell people, crystal, it's just a rock.
Yeah.
Yes, it has vibration, it has amazing potentials, but a rock is not going to fix you.
No.
It's not going to keep people at bay. Because at the end of the day, if you're the one that's allowing the people in, the crystal isn't going to keep them out.
Exactly.
Like-
and honestly, you can block the energies coming from crystals and sprays and all of these things.
Absolutely.
If you're in a really negative headspace, you can get all the tools in the world. You can have all of the magic in the world, and you're still going to repeat those habits, because no matter what you do, those are the lessons that you're here for. And if you're in a negative space and not really ready to move past those lessons, they're going to repeat no matter what you do.
And readers that have people come back, even sessions, right? Come back repeatedly, and they just keep telling the person, same message over and over again. Okay, as a healer, isn't our job to help people heal? We're not here to heal you.
No.
We are here to help you.
I'm here to guide you.
Exactly.
To guide you on your
that's
journey.
not guiding. To
That's
me,
not.
people that are just constantly getting readings all of the time, seeking.
Yeah, you're looking for someone to give you the answer, but that's not how it works. Nobody can give you the answer. I have actually turned people away who keep trying to get readings from me, and I tell them, I have nothing left for you because you're not doing the work. If you don't do the work, there's no new message. You're gonna just be giving me your money to say the same thing, and I can't morally do that.
And I find that puppies and rainbows is that a lot of people in the spiritual community be like, oh, just think positive and be positive, and these are all the crystals you need to create those positive vibes, and make sure you carry your obsidian and your onyx with you to block out negative energy.
So you can be so positive.
So you just people pick these little crystals up and they think that this crystal is going to change their life.
Yeah.
And I mean, to a certain extent, yes, crystals, they all have a vibration. They will help you. Yeah. But if you're seriously putting all of your weight into this little stone and you're not doing any of the work with you, no crystal in the world is going to protect your negative energy.
Right? And think of it like a Band-Aid.
Yes.
A Band-Aid doesn't heal your wound, but it helps.
Right.
It helps protect it. It helps nurture it, things like that. And that's what your crystals can do.
But if you take the Band-Aid off and you keep picking at the scab, it'll never heal.
It'll never heal if you don't do anything to
And that's
it.
what I find people do. It's like, well, that wasn't, I put a Band-Aid on, but it didn't instantly heal. I need to take the Band-Aid off
and keep picking at it.
Or I need to put something else on. Maybe this will heal it faster.
Like wait, patience.
Healing journey is a journey.
It's a journey. It is not puppy dogs and rainbows.
No.
It's supposed to be ugly and gross and uncomfortable.
And it's life.
And life, reality.
Right.
We need to, that's the other thing too, that, you know, we need to live here. We can't be
Yes.
living up in the clouds where the puppy dogs and rainbows are. We need
Thinking
to live
positive
here.
is not going to change your life.
Yes, we want to be a more positive person. We don't want to be negative and
Absolutely.
gross, but you cannot do forced.
But there's a method.
What is it? What was the word? Not forced positivity. What is it called? Toxic positivity.
Yes.
Is a thing.
Yes,
It's a thing.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Because the people, and I've seen people in the spiritual community living in that toxic positivity.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, that's not what the human journey is all about. We are here to be in the dirty part of life. We're here to go through the pain. And when you're in a healing journey, it's never done.
Nope.
Because it is always ongoing. There's always new lessons. There's always new experiences. As we get older, there's different things that come up. And, you know,
and things
menopause
repeat them,
right now,
and then
now.
things repeat themselves. But yeah,
Exactly.
as our bodies go through changes, we're going to go through things like menopause and hormonal issues for women, and you know, even men have issues that are going on that they
100%.
don't acknowledge, right? So
Yeah.
that's going to change everything.
Yeah, so when someone goes get a Reiki session, you know, 2 years ago, and they're still stuck on their root chakra, well, chances are your root chakra it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's moved on to a different chakra now.
100%.
It's always constantly moving and evolving.
Yeah.
So people they forget to tell people that this is just in the moment.
Yeah, this is
This
now.
is not for the next 4 or 5 years.
No.
This is just now.
And this will be a topic for another one, but you have to keep in mind too, when you're talking about energy work, if you don't heal something, it's like roots that will grow and spread throughout all of your chakras. So you might have throat chakra issues today, but if you work through that, then you're going to be like, oh, it's actually in this chakra. Oh, wait, it's in this chakra. And it's going to slowly be able to cut back those roots to find the root
Layers.
of the problem.
And that's what I tell people.
Layers.
Healing journey is huge amount of layers.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get to the core right off the hop. It's going to be peeling the layers.
Yeah.
And I find that most people always start with readings and crystals.
Yeah.
That's where I started too.
Yeah.
I was getting all the readings. I was getting all the crystals.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to get the Reiki, and you know, yes, those did help, but they're not what did the work. I'm the one that did the work. I had to learn my lessons. I had to, you know, change the mindset. And the mind doesn't change by crystals. The mind changes by doing meditations, by looking at the world through different eyes, and realizing and owning your own faults.
I was just going to say that, but it's also accepting responsibility for your part in it, right? Like you may not have meant to be that toxic person, and you never meant to be that bad person, but you know what? We all are someone's villain.
Yeah. Everybody
right?
is.
And you have to acknowledge that you had a part in that, and you have to heal from that, and you have to forgive yourself from that. You can't just be like, oh, here's some sprinkle magical puppies and rainbows.
Just think positive. Just think positive.
You can't sprinkle unicorn dust on it and it just all goes away and you're just this magical being now.
Exactly.
That's not how this works.
No, it is dirty and painful and ups and downs.
And it's accepting things that are you don't want to. You don't
and
want
yes,
to.
getting a positive message from someone is, you know, when you read different quotes and they resonate with you, and they're like, oh, that really hit home, but you can't live in that world. You're like, okay, yeah, that really hit home, but now what do you do with it? So if you read a really amazing quote from you know, Buddha or the Dalai Lama, okay, well, now what are you doing with that?
Yeah, that hit home, but great.
Now what?
Yeah.
Are you, you know, maybe doing mantras? Yeah. Are you looking at doing some meditations?
Are you going to look on that topic? Are you going to analyze that topic in your life? Right. Whatever it was that resonated with you, did it make you go, oh, I really need to still work on that? And
people, I find in the puppies and rainbows world, you know, I mean, you know, you and I have always talked about signs, right? Because you guys always would laugh at me. Is that, yes, I do believe that messages come from our higher selves. I do believe that those messages are delivered. But I don't believe that every little thing that everyone experiences all the time is a freaking message. Like my saying, sometimes a rock is just a rock.
Exactly.
Just because you find a rock on the ground doesn't mean that rock was meant for you. Or my favorite thing is, well, this broke, so it must have been done with it. No, it broke because you dropped it on cement and it broke because it's a rock that had
or the bracelet snapped because you caught it on something.
Right, because elastic in a bracelet isn't meant to last a lifetime.
Exactly.
But people put so much, and they get told by their healers, oh well, that pendant broke, so you're done with that energy. Yes, do I believe that crystals will hold a certain amount of vibration and could fissure because of the vibration in someone? Possibly, but it doesn't mean you're done with it.
No.
Only you know if you're done with it.
Exactly.
If that crystal, if you look at that crystal, I'm like, I used to love that crystal. Like unakite. I love unakite. It's always been my favorite, but I don't feel the need to wear it anymore like I used to. I still love it because it has an emotional feeling for me, but it's not a crystal I work with anymore because I've moved through that energy.
Right.
So, you know, just because something breaks or you lose it doesn't mean that I no longer needed it.
No. It's how do you feel about it when you look at it? Like hematite, when you first met me, hematite was the only thing that could bring me back down to earth because I was so high up. Like my vibration was high, anxious, all of the things. Put hematite on my neck and I was like, oh, so the longest time I hematite because it felt good. Not because I was told that it was grounding. It was because you put it on me and you said, how do you feel?
Exactly. And it felt grounded.
And now I've moved on to tourmaline. Tourmaline, black tourmaline is now my stone, right? So we just moved through
But
these.
you also dove into meditation and you dove into the healing of when the anxiety, and I remember that conversation I said to you is, have you ever tried meditation for your anxiety? And you're like, no, I haven't. But what thing is, I gave you the suggestion, but it was up to you to do the work, and you did.
I went home and did the work.
You went home and you like, oh my goodness, you saw how it changed. So yes, as healers, we can give these suggestions, but it's still up to the individual. Even I have people come in and say, oh, I have a friend that's very negative and I really want to get them something to help. Like, okay, are they open to it? Do they want this?
Do they even believe in any of this
And they're
stuff?
like, well, I'm like, you can't mess with someone's free will. This is their journey. You can hold space, you can have a conversation, and you can give suggestions. You can't ultimately change that person's journey. You change your own journey. And if that person's meant to follow you, they'll follow you and they'll make their shift. But you can't alter that. And I tell it to so many people. I mean, I talk myself out of probably more sales because I don't want to sell someone something for them to give to someone else that I know is completely useless.
100%.
Because that's puppies and rainbows.
Exactly. I was going to say, you're just talking about the whole puppies and rainbows. I'm going to buy this for my friend to help fix my friend. That's living in the puppies and rainbows, the clouds and the unicorns.
I could be like, here's 5 crystals you need to buy for your friend. All of these will help your friend.
I can be like, here's the most expensive crystal on the shelf. Your friend
and the
needs
hard part is those people will believe me.
That's why we're here today.
And that's where I have that hard part, is that when you have, as a spiritual healer, when you have someone seeking, whether it's traumas or seeking advice, and they truly are, because I've been that person, when they're lost and they come to us because we're further along in our journey, doesn't mean that we're better than them.
No.
It's just we're more experienced and have gained a lot more knowledge that we're here to share.
Right. And I like to touch on that because I use that a lot and I tell people that all the time. Just because I am a teacher, practitioner, just because I can do readings, just because I can channel spirit guides and I can do all of these things does not make me better or more superior than anyone else. I'm just on a different part of my journey. I've done the work to get there. This person is just a few steps behind me. They're still just
and
as
I'm here to share my knowledge
to help
how
them,
I got here.
So to help them get to where they go on their path. But it does not make me better. It does not make me bigger. It does not mean I know more. It just means I'm on a different part of my journey.
And I think that's part of the other puppies and rainbows, is that I find that some of the spiritual community tend to come from that place of ego. I'm a Reiki master. They have to announce to everybody, I'm a Reiki master.
Psychic.
I'm a psychic. I'm a psychic. I'm a psychic medium. Right? Why does there's no labels? We don't need to have labels.
But that's the puppy dogs and rainbows. You have to label yourself because your ego is telling you that you need to be more than what you are. But I still feel that people that have to have these labels are still working on themselves. There's still insecurities.
When you have to announce to someone what your resume, your spiritual resume is, that comes from a place of egotistical. And that's where that frustration comes in. It's like, you don't need to announce your, I have people come to me like, oh yeah, well, I know all of this, or I know all of that, or I'm a Reiki master, I've been doing, that good for you. I'm so happy for you, but you don't need to announce. I don't announce my credentials.
I didn't come up to you and say, hey, what are your credentials? Why are you dumping this on me? I don't need to know that.
Because to me, that tells me that you feel that there's a superiority to it.
Which comes from insecurity.
Exactly.
That you need everyone to know. Yeah. And it drives me crazy because it's really tarnished that word master for me.
Yes.
As someone who's been practicing for like over 10 years, well, about 10 years. I don't even know anymore. I have a lot of trouble saying I'm a Reiki master, even though I have it under my belt. That's why I always say teacher practitioner kind of deal, because it doesn't feel right. Because so many people will walk in here and pick up a crystal and be like, oh, this is the most amazing one. This is going to help you open your third eye. And I know because I'm a Reiki master. Yeah. Okay, cool story. I didn't ask.
Yeah. Right? And why do you being a Reiki master make you more knowledgeable on that crystal than the actual human that is standing there that is seeking healing from a crystal?
Exactly.
Because everybody, my feeling is, as the spiritual communities, we're here to educate, to empower people and guide people to join us in our spiritual journey. So when someone come in and looking for something, I would rather educate them. How do you want to pick a crystal? Let's talk about the situation. Let's talk about energy and vibration, how your mind works and how your mind will shift that frequency within the body. Now let's talk about matching crystal to vibration. We all know like attracts like. Vibrations that vibrate on the same level will resonate to each other. So
which one was it that we tried with me? I think it was rose quartz was actually opening up my crown chakra.
I think so.
It was rose quartz that was opening my crown chakra. Who would have thought? Because everyone's labeled rose quartz to be heart and love,
it's only for your heart.
But love is the universal language, so why wouldn't it open up my third or my crown chakra?
And if your crown chakra at that time was vibrating at the same megahertz that rose quartz is, you'll connect with it.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's when you pick in different crystals, it's whatever that vibration that your body is in at that time matches that crystal. So I tell people, like, yes, I have the little meanings for crystals, but I tell people, throw it away. Go with trust when you pick it. Think of the situation and pick the crystal. And there is no right or wrong to picking crystals.
No.
There is, I want to work on something, or I just want to elevate something. Right? And again, in that puppies and rainbows, everyone's just like, oh, like, well, this rose card, it's for you, your heart chakra, and it's going to help you open. Well, but
it's going to bring you love, and it's going to do this.
So you have this person walking around with this rose quartz, and they're holding it, but they actually really don't resonate with it. They're doing it because they were told to. When they maybe have needed clear quartz. Maybe clear quartz that they keep looking at and go, wow, I really love that. But no, I was told rose quartz is what I need. Wow, but I really like that clear quartz. But no, rose quartz is what I need. So now they've no longer trusting their own vibration and listening to their own intuition.
Which is almost more damaging.
Exactly, because now they're blocking it. So guess what? That third eye now is going to start blocking, because we're not teaching people to say, well, but because I've had people come in and say, this one lady came in with a list of all these things that she was told to get, and I said, okay, why do you need this? Well, I was told. I'm like, okay, let's look at this crystal. Do you resonate with it? She's like, well, I think so. Okay, let's do a little test. So we did some tests with crystals, and the crystal that she was told she needed wasn't the one she actually picked when we got her to close her eyes and allow the intuition to step in and actually listen to her body. That wasn't the crystal she needed. So yes, as healers, we know crystals, and we say these are ones that I can suggest.
100%.
Known by what I know they mean.
100%.
And see if they resonate with you. But see if they resonate with you.
Exactly.
Don't go buy a trolling because you need it.
Exactly.
The word need. The word need from spiritual
You cannot
healers.
tell somebody what they need.
No.
You cannot control somebody's energy. You cannot know what somebody needs, because you only know them in the moment. You don't know them as a whole. You don't know their backstory. You don't know their whole life.
You only can go by what intuitively is coming to you at that time with the knowledge that you have. But it's letting that person say, this is what I feel. This is what I see for you. But if it doesn't resonate with you, pick something that does.
Exactly.
And teach people how to pick a crystal. Because picking it because they're told or because the book says, you're picking it from ego. You're not picking it from intuition. And we're all intuitive. Every human. People that think that they can only go to someone for readings. I had some, because I have people say, oh, do you have anyone that does mediumship? It's like, well, why? And they're like, well, so-and-so, her mom passed and she really wants to talk to her. I'm like, so talk to her.
Yes.
Why do you need another external person? You have the skills and the ability to do it.
Yes.
You just don't trust yourself.
Exactly.
Because we're all told that unless you do card readings, well, you can't have a psychic vision. Anybody and everybody can.
Yes, it's muscle.
It's a muscle. It's what you're flexing, what you're not flexing.
Exactly.
It's
what are you blocking too?
are you sitting down and listening
Yeah.
to that higher self?
Yeah.
Are you truly understanding what the messages is coming through?
And sometimes you need to clear the way because you've blocked, and now you can't talk to mom because you can't hear her because you've got all of the stuff in the way.
Yeah.
So you get through that stuff, remove that stuff, trust yourself, allow that wall to come down, and you can talk to mom.
Because we are all connected.
Absolutely.
Every person is connected.
Yeah.
There's not one person that's better than the next person, that's highly more connected. Yes, those people have worked their muscle a lot more, and possibly, yes, that in this spiritual journey that they're on, these were the gifts that they chose to be more amplified when they came into this life.
Well, look at it like this, like somebody who goes to the gym daily versus somebody who just walks daily versus somebody who doesn't work out at all.
Right.
No one's any better than the other person.
Right.
It's just what muscles they're using, what techniques that they prefer based on their own energy.
Exactly. And that's same with that in the spiritual community is just educate people. We as healers have way more power if we enlighten, educate, and empower.
Yes, and encourage people to question.
Yes, question.
Why? Okay, you want me to get black tourmaline? Why?
Why is black tourmaline for root chakra?
Why? Why is it for my root chakra?
Exactly.
And not red jasper or rose quartz or...
Well, this is one thing I always ask people is find me documentation where someone has tested rose quartz and has specifically said that this is the frequency it vibrates at, which correlates to the heart chakra. Where's the documentation that says rose quartz for your heart chakra? I have looked, I have done deep dives, I have done every investigation. I cannot find anybody anywhere. And you would think in the whole metaphysical world
there'd be something.
If there's all these meanings, who started it? Who started the meaning?
Guys, listeners, if you do have any access to prove that this is related to love, that somebody has done the scientific research, please let us know. Because
I would love to know that.
We would love to know that, because as it stands right now, if there is no proof, I can't believe it. You know what I mean?
Like I understand the science behind colors, right? So everything is vibration, right?
Yeah.
So black is a low ohm vibration. White is a high ohm vibration.
Yes.
So, okay, I can understand that. So then when you go in the color spectrum, all of the vibrations of each color will have a specific megahertz to it. And if you look at crystals, I can understand why, if rose quartz is the 432 megahertz, which is the heart, right? The love vibration. If the rose quartz vibrates at that, okay, awesome. Show me.
Yeah. Could you show me, please?
Because I don't see how that there can't be a device that you can put a rose quartz on to measure the hertz, the megahertz that are coming off of that.
Yes.
So we all know that they have vibration, but do we actually know the frequency at what they vibrate at?
Yes. So if anyone out there knows or has a machine or wants to invent one, you'll be a billionaire. Because I would love to see it, because that's a big thing too. Let's question, because proof is not all. I don't know how to explain this, but I need to have proof. You need to show me that it works, or I need to experience it myself. Right. But if I'm going to get into something, I will deep dive research, and I will take all these different opinions. I won't just stick to one person because they said so. I'm going to go and I'm going to find out what this author thinks and what this random Joe on Reddit thinks, and then I'm going to go talk to a friend, and then I'm going to talk to a fellow healer, and then I'm going to go to these people and have conversations about that topic or that crystal or that readings or guides or whatever it may be. And then I'm going to go, you know what? This is what really resonates with me. And I'm going to stick to because I'm going to go around, research, and question. Yeah.
I mean, if you're a person where rose quartz is the end all be all and it's your heart chakra and that resonates with you, I'm not telling you you're wrong.
You're not wrong.
Absolutely. If you've truly made that decision, you said, no, this one is for my heart chakra. Awesome. I will 100% believe you, because you know what you need and what resonates with you.
Saying the word wrong just triggered a great thought. Whatever you do in this world, whether you're, you want to use a certain crystal for a certain thing, you're never wrong. If someone says, no, that crystal's not for that, they're wrong. Exactly. You are not wrong, because your energy is not the same.
And like what you and I've talked before is your reality is different than my reality.
Remember, we all create our own reality.
We all create our own reality.
So we live in our own world, even though we're interconnected. Like Santana and I are very close. We work together on many different avenues, from spiritual stuff to everyday reality. And but at home we have completely different lifestyles, completely different realities, completely different, but we're still really close and connected, right? And that goes with everybody. So we're not vibrating at the same vibration. We might be on the same level, but we still have our own frequency.
Exactly.
And our own vision of what reality is.
And seeing that with everybody. So when you sit down, if you go to a reader and you're sitting down with that person, remember, they're just a human. They're not a superhuman. They are not someone above you. They're just someone that is connected with a different frequency that has a message. But when you get that message, sit with it. Don't take everything for its word.
Yeah.
Like
nothing's at face value in this world.
Exactly. Like the readings that I've had done over the years, there is some that I was like, okay, that looking back at what the message was, my interpretation at the time, right? Because that's one thing, is ego will interpret those messages one way versus what the reality is. So someone in a reading might say, oh, well, you're going to meet somebody and they're, this is going to be a long-term relationship, and, they can give you all this information, right? And you're in your mind thinking, oh, I'm going to meet my husband and my future and blah, 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 blah. Well, but they never said that.
No.
They said you're going to meet someone. And they're going to, right? It could be a coworker. It
could be a best
boss,
friend.
It could be a best friend. It could be a stranger that came into your life.
Yeah.
So we tend to, and I've noticed that with a lot of people when they get readings, is our own reality will interpret that reading, but that reader that sent you the message is also delivering it from their reality.
Right, which is something I always tell all my clients, is I'm only trying to decipher what they're telling me based off of my own knowledge, so I may be off. Like, I think that I shouldn't say the word hate. I very much dislike when people go into a reading and go, okay, you tell me. And they're just blocked. Now you're blocked. I can't because you're not giving me anything. And I'm also a human being. Like, I have to know if I'm on the right track, because I know what they're telling me, but I don't know what that means for you.
And that's why I have a hard time with like the trade shows and stuff that do readings, because I find people that come for those type of readings, they're coming because it's a thing to do. They're not someone who's truly seeking a message because they're struggling. Because that's why I went and got readings done, right? Because I was struggling and I was still new to my spiritual journey. And I was trying to get as many answers as I could, and I was trying to figure those things out. And so I'd go to those people for those readings, but to go to a mass group gathering, those people that are sitting there doing the readings, I'm not saying that they aren't having some messages for people, but the people that are receiving them, those messages aren't there for always the right reasons. They're not someone who's like, I'm lost, I'm truly confused, I'm booking an appointment with this person to sit down and actually pay this money to help me sort some stuff out. They're like, oh, this looks like fun. Let's go get a reading done. I'm going to see if they can tell me something. And they try to challenge these people, to call them out on like, well, you tell me, right? And like exactly what you said, sit down and say, I'm not telling you anything.
Yeah.
That is, and I find that that's what a lot of these fairs have created, is that thing in people's minds that these psychics, because I hate that word, are there to, it's not Hollywood. They're not here to tell you the future and read your mind. They're reading the energy you bring to the table.
Exactly.
And yes, they'll start channeling and they'll start connecting to guides and stuff, but if you are bringing nothing to the table,
they can't get anything.
They can't get anything. But people in the puppies and rainbows world will fake it.
Yeah.
They'll start reading, but the reading that they'll give you, because I tell you what, I can pull out cards and tell anyone any message, and I can make it like, I can tell someone, oh, you know what, I see that you're struggling, but don't worry, you can, because at some point.
They just get generic.
Because everybody struggles.
Exactly.
And yes, and you might bring someone to tears because you've hit something in them, and you validated.
Because they came to you hoping for something.
Exactly.
But even if they didn't give you anything, and you give them the generic, I can tell you're struggling, they may break down and be like, oh crap, they actually gave me a reading. But I've had readings where I've actually told people, I'm not getting anything from you. Like we either need to reset, you need to open up. Like, I'm not getting anything from you. I'm not going to give you a false reading.
Exactly. Because exactly.
I'm not going to give you a false reading based off the energy you're giving. And you can sit down too, and if your mind is sitting there telling me, come on, tell me the truth, tell me this, I don't know if I believe you, and you're open and I'm giving you a reading, your energy is going to make me feel uncomfortable, which is going to make me second guess myself. So now your reader isn't confident in the reading that they're giving you, so that's not going to do you any good, right?
Exactly.
So if you're living in this puppy dogs and rainbows world, you're going to find the reader that's just like bam, 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 right? And then they're like, okay, but bye.
Here's your message, and they can start saying, someone you love is everyone's got someone we love this past. Like
Right.
it's easy to, I find it's easy for readers to get in their own head and start making up shit that isn't actually reality, because
Right.
they don't want to admit that what the message that they're giving is really
Right.
not there.
Right.
Instead of saying, you know what, I'm not getting a connection with you.
Yeah.
I don't feel connected. I don't feel, yeah, we can pull cards and we can flip stuff over and see what it says.
Yeah.
Try and interpret it together, because what you're giving me isn't working.
Yeah.
And you'll find those card readings will be chaotic.
Yeah.
The message will be very weird and cards won't flow nice, and
It
it's
just
like,
doesn't make sense.
and people don't really, because that's where we go back to energy.
Yeah.
Energy is energy, and if you're trying to read from ego,
Yeah.
you will not get a
be
reading.
real.
You
No.
got to get that reading from that
And if you have
spiritual.
two people sitting down at the table with ego, you're just,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
even harder.
Yeah, so you can't sit there and just give them a false reading and you both walk away, ooh, all
Yeah.
puppy dogs and rainbows. No, because you didn't do anyone any good.
And then the people that seek reading after reading after reading
so
after
many of
reading.
those. Yeah.
You know, I hope that if anyone is listening to this that does that, is look in and say, okay, why am I constantly seeking the answer?
Yes.
And I'm not getting, if you're not getting the message, the message is coming at you differently, or you're getting the same message over and you're not listening. Your higher self will always give you the messages.
Yeah.
You just have to pay attention.
Yeah.
But if you're not paying attention, or you just don't want it because you don't want to do the work.
Well, and that's just it.
Right.
Or you just want the answer. You want someone to say, this is
Here's
what
the
you
magic.
need.
Here's the magic
Here's
pill.
the magic pill. I like
this
that.
pill will fix everything.
This will fix
for-
everything. Yeah, exactly. It's and it breaks my heart when I see people repeating and coming back and coming back.
And I can get it when you're in a state of despair, a state of
and you're
brokenness.
lost and you're
Yeah,
low.
I can see
Absolutely.
how you would seek and seek and seek and seek, because you're trying to find that one thing that actually
lifts you out
of it. Exactly, that hits that spot. So if you've sought all of these people and you still haven't hit that spot, then what? That's again when we talk about taking ownership. Then you need to take ownership for your own energy and say, okay, I need to look within, because I've gotten readings and session after session after session after session, and I'm still in the same spot I was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
If you're still in the same spot you were 3 years ago, and you've been doing readings and sessions, then you need to look within yourself, because it's not the people that you've been working with. No, it's you.
It's you. Yes.
And it's taking that ownership.
Yes. And this isn't, we're not saying it in a rude way, like you're the problem, but you're the problem. Like, why can't
our journey is here to heal.
And whatever happened to humanity to make us feel like we can't say we're the problem? Why is it such a bad thing to say, oh man, in this situation, I'm the problem?
Right.
Let me fix me. What's so wrong with saying that?
It's okay to say, yeah, you know what? I was the one that caused this. Right?
Yeah, there's so many things that back in the day, I was that person where I was like, I'm a good person, I have a good heart. And then as I went on my healing journey, I was like, oh, I wasn't always a good person. And like, I did some stuff.
But the thing is, so that's the other flip side, is that we're not always good people.
No.
We're human.
We're human. We make mistakes. We act on impulse. Like,
but it's what do you do with that lesson? How do you grow from it?
Exactly.
You know, and do you say, okay, yeah, I acknowledge this part of my life. I acknowledge that I had a hand in this situation. What did I do to bring this about?
Right.
And one thing it's one thing in the puppies and rainbows world, you can't expect the other person to acknowledge their responsibility in the situation. You have to be okay with that. And that's the hard part, is finding closure when you can't get closure.
Exactly.
Right? And so that's why people seek readings and sessions, and they're trying to get this closure on a situation that they can't get closure on, rather than realizing we are all a soul on a journey. Everyone has their own things to live through. You chose this journey. That's why I love telling that to people too, when they talk about, oh, I've got this and this and this. I'm like, remember, you chose this life. You chose to experience these things. This is the life you chose for a reason. Why did you choose it? What lessons are you moving through? If you look at every human that way, so even if you have a negative interaction with somebody, you chose that negative interaction in this life.
Exactly.
And you said, this person came in to create something so I could learn from it. Or like what you said too, like we talked about, the drug addicts and things, people like that you can't change. Like that's their journey that they chose. But I love what you said, is that they also chose that journey to create lessons for other people.
Other people,
And
yes.
I love
right,
that.
when we
I'm
talked
like-
about that the other day.
I'm like, you're
it's
right.
true, because
Yep.
I have to encounter other people that are in the dark space. You know, I have to encounter other people that are addicts and that are bad people that are here. There's people put here to give bad situations and put you in bad situations so that I can learn a lesson.
Exactly.
Right? So it's not always about that addict is on their own path and they're blah, 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 blah. They are,
Yep.
but they're also, we're all connected.
Except we're all connected.
Yes.
Even as sucky as it is, even the really dark and badness that's in the world.
Like, and I truly believe, like, when we were downtown, that was all for a reason.
Yeah,
That was all for
100%.
experience. That was all for growth, right?
And to take situations from a compassionate standpoint and realize that we are human and no one's perfect. And yes, there's going to be situations where, you know, friends will fall apart. There will be situations where jobs don't work out. There'll be situations where relationships don't work out.
Yeah.
You know, and you instead of holding on to that person's bad, that person did this, you have to look, you have to go from a compassionate standpoint and say, okay, what lesson did I learn from this? How can I hold space for that person to find their own healing so that I can also find my own healing?
But here's the important part, and not, sorry to interrupt, but here's the important part, because we want to bust those bubbles. It's okay to go to the dark place for a bit.
Absolutely.
Just don't make a home there.
Exactly.
You're allowed to have your time of, they did this to me, they did that to me, this is how I feel, I hate everything, I hate everyone, but don't live there. Then you have to be like, okay, now that that's out of my system,
how do I move forward
I need to move forward from it and realize that I also played a part in it. I need to realize that this is their journey and that's why they did these things, etc., etc., etc.
Exactly. You have to have dark and light.
Yes, you can't have just one.
But that's where the puppies and rainbows
Right,
world comes in, is that it's all light and bubbly and you're never supposed to have a negative thought. And you're still freaking human.
Yeah.
But also understand that those emotions of fear, of anger, of pettiness, of jealousy, those are all ego emotions. And yes, we're going to have them because we are living in a physical world where ego exists. We don't live in a subconscious world. If we did, the world would look very different.
It would be so different. Yeah.
But we live in an ego world. We live in that Mars world without that Mars energy. It's the Venus side of us, the feminine side, that balances it out. That's why you have to have the light and the dark. So it's okay to vent and to be angry at a situation. And if you don't, you just bottle it up and puppy and rainbow it all the time and sprinkle sparkles on it.
Yeah.
It'll bubble up. And eventually
you can't put glitter on shit.
No. Well, you can, but it's still shit.
But it's still shit. It's just sparkly now.
Exactly. Now it's just glittery.
Yeah.
Right? But that's just it, right? People think that, oh, well, if you're having a shitty life, we're just going to dump a bunch of glitter on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't change your life.
No.
It makes it more sparkly, but it's still shitty.
Yeah, but it's just making you ignore the fact that it's still shit underneath the glitter.
Exactly.
Right?
The only way to clean up the shit, you actually have to clean it up.
You actually have to get rid of the shit.
You have to get rid. You got to pick it up. You got to look at it, and you got to throw
Throw
it
it
out.
away, right?
You don't carry it.
No.
And you don't bury it.
No.
You got to flush that down the toilet.
I love how this turned into a thing. I'm going to look at you at work when we're venting.
Right?
Just flush it down the toilet.
Flush it down the toilet. Just flush that down the toilet.
Flush it down the toilet.
I
love that now. That's my other new thing.
Right? When we're angry, just flush it down the toilet.
Flush it down the toilet.
Don't carry
I love
that shit with you. Just flush down the toilet.
Oh, it's so funny.
Right? So it's okay to be human.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's okay to be in that space, but just don't make a home there. Don't live there. You
Yeah.
don't want to live there. That's the whole point. The whole point is to go through things in this human experience and go into the high highs and the low lows to experience those emotions and experience how to work with them. We have to know what it's like to go to the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves and how to come out of those deepest, darkest parts of ourselves. And we also need to have those high highs so that we know what we're trying to achieve.
Exactly.
But we also can't live there, because if we live there, then we're not learning anything.
Well, then you're not living in reality.
You're not here. You're not doing what you came here to do.
Yeah, it's, having that balance of life and spirituality is a struggle, right? Is that you still have to be a human. You still have to live in this human life, and you can still be spiritual. So I find that people that live in that puppies and dogs, that rainbow world, are always so, like, they're always doing all these rituals, and they're always doing all these attending all these classes that, you know, they're trying to live that, but what happens is it doesn't last long.
No.
Because they
They
peter
fizzle
out.
out. Yeah, they fizzle out.
Because it's hard to sustain that kind of life. You cannot live in this world and live in this high poppy and rainbow above the clouds life. Yes, it's fun and it feels really freaking good.
And yeah, of
We've
course
all
you want to
been
stay there.
We want to stay there, but then something in life kicks you down.
Yeah.
And then you forget what
Yeah.
that high feels like.
Yeah.
So you have to, okay, I have the tools. So you got to find that middle ground.
Yes.
Instead of living way up in the high.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want to live in the low.
Yeah.
It's that middle ground of,
Yeah.
it's okay to find that balance of, you know, doing meditations and doing rituals. And if you don't do it every night, that's okay. If you don't if putting crystals out in the moonlight resonates with you and you don't do it every month, then it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not, there's like some kind of score system.
Well, exactly. It's not like you're going to get punished if you didn't do it this month, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
And some people do act that way.
Yes.
They get really, really bent out of shape if you don't, like we were talking about, if you don't sage properly, if you don't do your crystals properly, if you don't do your Reiki properly. What's properly?
Right.
Let's talk about the sage for a second. Let's go to that topic because we did kind of mention it.
And that's always a sensitive
and
topic.
And we almost went on a rant. We're like, save it for the podcast. Yeah. But sage, please tell me why you want to sage this specific way. Like we talked about the native culture. People are always like, oh, it has to be gifted to you. You have to give a gift back to the plant and da-da-da. Okay, that is beautiful. I think that culture is beautiful. The native culture is very, very interesting. But are you native? Yeah. Are you trying to represent that culture? Or are you Catholic? The Catholic Church uses sage. They use it completely differently. They use it in the church. They use it to cleanse when you go to eat the body of Christ. They use it to cleanse you. Yeah. Okay, cool story. Now Buddhism, right? Yeah. Buddhism uses it to cleanse evil spirits and negative energies.
And then you have like going to the Wicca community.
And then going to the Wicca community.
Right? So exactly. Like
they use it to create sacred space. They use it to clear negative entities and energies as well.
Yeah, this whole the myths behind why you can't do certain things.
Yes.
And I have people say, well, you can't, is your sage locally sourced? No, it's not, because I'm a retailer. And you know how expensive that would be to try locally sourced sage?
You'd be paying like $25, $30
and I would
a bundle.
Never be able to keep stock.
No.
I'm sorry. At the end of the day, buying a retailer from wholesale, that's just my option.
Yeah.
Would I love to have someone locally make sage for me and keep me apprised of all that? Absolutely. Is that feasible? No. But again, it's like it doesn't make things right or wrong. People put in all these labels of, well, you can't sell. I'm not allowed to. I had this one. I can't buy sell tarot cards. I'm told I'm only allowed to have them gifted.
I'm told I'm only allowed.
I'm like, yes. If you want to go back into the 1500s when the occult had to be underground. Yes, absolutely. Because those cards had to be gifted because they weren't allowed to buy them because they weren't allowed to have them.
Exactly. I was just going to say, you weren't allowed to have them, so you couldn't buy them, so they had to be gifted.
Do we live in the 1500s right now? We don't. And I always tell that to people. If you like the cards, buy the damn cards.
Buy the deck if you love the deck.
There is no right or wrong. If you resonate with something, buy it. Another one I've had people say, well, I was told these two crystals shouldn't go together.
Why?
Well, they don't resonate with each other. I'm like, who tested that? Who said that these would be conflicting?
Who is the end all be all that said this?
Right? Show me the factual information. Yeah. Okay. When you talk about drug interaction, you can show the science behind why.
I can see the science. I can see it. It's in front of my face.
So you're telling me you can't have these two crystals together at the same time? Show me why. Show me why. But people will follow blindly.
Right?
And they will buy stuff
and going back
based on blind information.
And going back to the tarot cards. Again, like you said, we're not living in the 1500s. And it's all, and a lot of the myths and a lot of the old wives' tales and stuff like that are stuff that's like a story. When you were in kindergarten, did you ever play the game of telephone? Right? So when it gets passed down generation to generation to generation, we lose bits and pieces. Like the whole, I have to be gifted my tarot deck. But they missed the whole part of why you had to be gifted back then.
Exactly.
Now they're just like, I have to be gifted. And it's like they have blinders on. And that's the only part of the story of history that's stuck.
Right. And yet people don't question.
Right.
That's what
passion, everything.
And what I tell people too is that tools in the spiritual world are meant for us to use
Yes.
on a spiritual level. They're here to help us and guide us. There's no negative connotation to them. You're not going to get some weird backlash because you bought a deck of cards. That is not how the universe works. If you bought that deck of cards because you love them and you resonate and they made you, it brought an emotion up and they made you feel something, that's heart center. That's compassion. That's never a bad thing. If you bought the deck of cards because you wanted to, I want to kill someone and I'm going to use these cards to
use the cards
right?
to do it. Like,
okay, that would be a negative way to use the cards.
Right.
And yes, you're going to have karmic backlash.
Yeah.
And I tell it to people with Sage. I'm like, if you're walking around the house going, fuck this shit, you fuck that shit, and I hate everybody. Yeah, Sage is going to have a negative connotation because you're using it with the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
So any tool in the spiritual world, if you're using it from that heart center, from that place of compassion,
Yes.
you know, because look at rocks. They're beautiful. They have these amazing vibrations that make us feel. But if I picked up that big cathedral there and threw it at you, it'd probably kill you.
Right? So
Right?
it can be used for
It
negative
can
purposes.
be used for negative purposes.
Please don't throw it at me.
I don't think I could carry it.
I don't think you could lift it enough.
But you know what I mean? So, you know, everyone thinks that they put this spin on certain things because I can't have it because I was told. Anything in the world can be a positive or a negative thing.
Please tell me who's going to punish you for buying your own deck of cards and
Right.
why. Can you question? I'm going to question right now.
Yeah.
Why would you be punished for it? Why would you be punished for getting something that makes you happy, brings you joy, and you resonate with?
Yeah.
I have a deck of cards that I love and I've had for years, and I bought it for myself, and I didn't right off the hop, I didn't even need the book or anything. These cards just boom, boom, I just knew what they were.
We all have that deck of cards.
But I've
that
had 2 decks gifted to me, and I can barely open them because they're not for me.
because
they're not me.
You didn't pick them.
I didn't pick them. I didn't want them. Someone just said, hey, I got this and I thought of you. And I'm like, oh, great. But I don't resonate with this at all. And every time I try to use them, I don't feel right.
And that's the same with crystals. When someone says, well, I want to buy my friend a crystal because they're going through something. Okay, the hard part about that is you're picking it based on your vibration, not on theirs.
Yeah.
So that's why I'll usually go to the Earth Keeper sprays because that to me is something that person can use right on their body. And I always tell them, bring your friend in and let your friend pick their own crystal.
Yeah,
for what they need.
Exactly.
If you truly want to get them a little gift, then pick something that makes you feel really good about them. And yes, they're still going to love it.
Yeah.
But don't pick that crystal because you're trying to figure out their healing.
Yes, exactly.
Only they
it
can.
totally, absolutely would be amazing to come in and say, hey, I have a friend who's struggling and I want to cheer her up. So I want to get her some crystals with different intentions. That's a whole different game. That's a whole different thing. That's absolutely beautiful, wonderful gift because that's going to make them feel special that you went and got intentions, right? You're giving them your intention, but you cannot come into a store and say, hey, I need a crystal for my friend who's going through this because I want to help them heal this.
Yeah.
No, but you can get them a crystal with the intention that will help them through it.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's usually what I'll
There's a
tell them. I'm like,
difference.
think of your friend, think of the situation they're going through, and then pick a crystal that calls to you.
Yes.
Because now you're picking it not based on what the little write-up was.
No.
Or based on the one thing that's probably the most, and just it's one of the most irritating things people say. And they come in, I need a crystal to help block negative energy.
I know.
And I'm like, you know how you can do that? They're like, how? With your mind.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's you that's allowing the negative energy to come in. Not a crystal is not going to be all of a sudden this magic shield. And they kind of look, they go, oh, I'm like, your mind is the one that's going to stop it. Because if you're allowing negative people into your life and you're allowing negative people to affect you, that's on you.
Yeah, that's on you.
That poor little crystal, you're asking a big job of a rock.
Little rock.
That little rock is going, holy crap.
I can't help you. That's too much.
Right? I mean, we can maybe drape you in a dress made of tourmaline, but
that I can make you feel good for today, but once you leave the building, I'm out. I'm tapped.
Like, one little stone isn't going to do that, and people kind of look at you like. As I said, I could sell people crystals all day long and be like, oh, you need 20 of these in order to protect negative energy, and people would literally go, okay.
And like, no. Like, I make terrariums and stuff like that, and they have intention based. And I literally will sit there with my crystals out and be like, I want to make something to bring the vibration of protection. I want to bring the vibration of cleansing. I want to bring the vibration of love. And so I will pick those stones that I feel bring that vibration. But somebody that comes in and says, I'm looking for something that will bring love into my home. and I show them the one I made intentions with love, they might be like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, that
right?
one-
Because it doesn't resonate with them.
Right. Exactly.
But intention is everything. Like even when we're talking about Reiki, when I teach my Reiki class, I tell them intention is everything because you control your entire universe with your mind.
Yeah.
Your thoughts are
your
everything.
reality, your aura.
What you see, what you do, how you act, everything is controlled by you. So your intentions are everything. That's what controls things.
Humans don't realize how powerful their brains are.
Right?
And how much, like when I do the scans with people, and the biggest shift that I see is when people shift the mind. Not a crystal.
I will tell you.
When they shift the mind.
100%. And I will tell you because we're all still on that healing journey, but I've recently gone through a few things and I've literally felt, because I'm on a different level of my healing journey, I literally felt the shift within my entire body as soon as I shifted that mind. And it wasn't easy to shift the mind. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of like looking into things, going inwards, focusing on certain topics and stuff. And eventually one day, I heard a piece of advice and I literally felt everything shift inside of me, and I was just better for it from there on. And I can still feel it to this day. I sometimes will sit back and go, wow, that Nicole 6 months ago and this Nicole now is different because I changed my mind.
And what you did is you sought different, you asked for, I always tell people, if you ask the universe for help, you ask for that help, but you still have to do the footwork.
Yes.
The messages will come. And like you said, you read something, it was like, oh, and it just, right?
But I did so much work up to it. It was that, and then all of a sudden the universe went here.
Because the universe went, okay, you're doing all the work. Here's the
You're
message.
on the right path. You finally reached the message.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the message.
And that's the other thing too, and this might be another topic too, but following the universe, going through the ups and the downs, the trials, climbing the mountains, falling down the hills, all of that is the path that the universe is giving you to get to the message. So you're not always going to get the message on the way.
Yeah.
So stop looking for the message and just do the work, and the message will present itself like it did with me.
Well, like we talked, like when I said, sometimes a rock is just a rock.
Yeah.
Stop looking at every little thing in your life as a message.
Yes.
People get really hung up on numbers.
Come out of the clouds.
Right?
I was going to say that early. Just because you see 1111, for 3 days in a row, it's because subconsciously you're looking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going to find it. Exactly. If you're like the color red, it represents something for you, you're going to see all the red things all the time because your mind is looking for it.
Exactly.
The universe isn't giving you.
And that's okay to say, okay, but just acknowledge that. Acknowledge that this is the message that you're getting is because you've shifted the mind.
Yes.
And you've been asking for it.
Yes.
It's messages that the universe give aren't random.
Yes.
They don't randomly put stuff in front of you, only if you've asked.
Yeah.
So I've said that to someone, they're like, I keep seeing this, and this. I'm like, okay, what have you asked for lately?
Yeah.
What have you asked for help on?
Yes.
And they kind of look at you, I'm like, you've asked for help on something. Mm-hmm. So the universe is giving you these because this is the messages it thinks that you are resonating with, but you're not giving the universe that guidance, your higher self, to say, give me a clear message, give me a message that I will understand, give me a message that I will see and understand right away. Because for me, because I'm such that logical person, where if you give me 111s and 222s isn't going to mean shit, because I look at that and go, well, that's the universal chance of me looking at the clock and it saying 1111. It's very likely, because it happens every day.
Exactly.
So it's not like it's a random number that never happens. So I go, well, the chance of me looking at the clock at that right time,
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen more often than not.
I want something I want a message that I am not going to expect.
Yeah.
Something that's out of my norm, that I can't logically explain.
Right.
That's the messages that I want to see.
Absolutely.
And I will get them when I ask for it. But you have to be paying attention.
Exactly.
You have to be. You have to trust.
You have to be very
open.
Self-aware too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the messages are. They're simple and they're not
this big grandiose thing. And another thing too, to go on the other side of that too, if you truly believe that 1111 is going to bring you good luck, it will, because you create your own reality. Yes. You made it make you lucky. You made it bring your wishes. You did that, not 1111. It's because you believed that it did it. So it did.
And that's the same with crystals.
Yes.
Because people want to, I need a crystal for luck.
Yes.
Okay. At the end of the day, you make your own luck. It's all in the mind. If when we talk about attracting abundance and manifesting, right? It's the same thing. You know, again, you go into the puppies and dogs or puppies and rainbows world.
Yeah.
People, oh, you want to manifest? Okay, well, you can only do it on a new moon on a Tuesday. While you're burning this color candle and you have this herb and you better sprinkle cinnamon out your door and you have to do all of these things.
Yeah.
So people do all of these rituals and then they wait for the abundance. But what they didn't do is change their mind.
Yeah.
I am abundant.
Yeah.
Abundance flows to me.
Yes. They didn't add in the mantras. They didn't change their mind. They didn't invite it in.
They just put all this stuff
down. They said,
and
okay, bring me money.
I threw cinnamon out my door now. I'm just
Where's my money?
Wait.
Where's my money? It's not.
No.
Okay, magic doesn't work like that.
And they could have got 4 phone calls for jobs, but they didn't want to answer the phone
because they're waiting for their money.
They're waiting for their money, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, there's I've seen memes like that. It's like, well, the universe, you know, you never gave me, or I was asked for help and you never gave me. It's like, well, I sent you a boat, I sent you a helicopter, and I sent you a rescue crew, and you decided not to escape.
Yeah, because you were waiting for something else.
You were waiting for something else.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you know what? I could do a whole abundance ritual, and the next day I can walk down the street and find $1.
There you go.
That was my money because I didn't give a specific amount either, and the universe has just said you wanted money. There, you found a random $1.
Yeah. Or you might all of a sudden get a phone call from a really good friend that you haven't heard from a while, and they want to connect with you, and you meet with them. That's your abundance.
There's your abundance. Why does abundance have to be money?
Exactly.
People just immediately go to money, and it's not.
Exactly.
And you know what? Your riches do come from the people you're connected with. So it's about opening your mind.
And that's where that whole puppy dogs and rainbows thing come in, when people go into, you know, see different people or do these rituals, or they follow people on TikToks and Instagrams, and they're these witchy people that do all this stuff, and they idolize these people. It's like, okay, but you're following what someone else is doing because you think that that's going to bring abundance or bring this manifestation. Because I was that person. I used to do the rituals and stuff all the time, and did I get result from it? I would say yes, but not necessarily in the way that I do now.
Yes.
Because now it's just different.
It's different.
Now I can attract my abundance. I can change my reality. And you know how much tools I use? None.
Yeah.
Because I do it all with the mind. Yeah. Every day you're setting that intention. Every day you're shifting the vibe. If you want to shift your vibration, I love, there was a saying that I saw, and I forget, I don't know if it was Dolores Cannon or who it was. Said abundance is all around you. It always is. It's your blockages that stop you from receiving it.
Yes, I love
that. And I thought,
you told me that the first
I'm like,
time.
that is exactly true. So people try to attract abundance. Well, the abundance is already there. What are you blocking from within yourself to receiving that?
Yes.
Right? Is it fear? Yes. Is it self-worth?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Or is it you're believing this little rock is the thing that's going to do it? And
because you're so focused over here.
Yeah.
All your
and the
abundance
universe
is here
is
going,
waiting.
hey, but you're over here with your rock.
Right? And the universe is waiting for you. I'm like, I can't wait till she puts that rock down.
Well, remember you said that you had a big thing was supposed to happen to you in your life, and it was going to shift everything. And you're like, I really thought it was going to be this. And now that all this stuff happened, it was that.
Yeah.
But I never thought of that. I wasn't looking there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
At least you're self-aware enough to go back and go, whoa, let me back up. Actually, this did happen.
Yep.
And I'm going to work through that. But you have to remember that it's not always going to be what you think it's going to be. I can do a spell. One of my favorite things that I used to do, and sometimes I still do, is if I'm struggling and I need $500 to fix my car, or something is major, right? And I will do a little ritual with the $500, and I just tell the universe, if it's not money value, please bring me this situation, fix this situation if it's not money value. But I still put the money value in, I do my thing or whatever, and I walk away
and trust.
And I trust, which is hard for me.
It's hard for anybody.
Hard.
That's the hardest part, is when you do set that intention, is trusting that the universe
and you
will
can
provide.
do a ritual to make it feel like, sometimes I always say, sometimes adding these tools is nice because it helps you feel like you're stronger. I've got more and more, and I'm stronger. It doesn't mean it's going to do more. It just makes you feel stronger. It's how you resonate. And so I will do that, and then I will walk away and trust and look everywhere. I will not just look for, say it's new tires I need. I will look for someone giving away tires. I will look for, an opportunity to make $500 to get new tires.
Because the universe will put those things in front of you. It'll be like, here's all the different opportunities. And if you're not paying attention, intention.
No
if
longer,
you're literally waiting for it to show up on your front door.
I'm not just going to sit on my step, go,
Yep.
where's my money? Where's my money?
Yep.
I'm going to be like, okay, where is this abundance going to come from?
Because I do believe, like, you know, rituals and altars and all that, I do believe there is, because you talk about frequency.
Yes, and there's purpose to them.
Absolutely. When you talk about the universal energies, and yes, I believe that we can manipulate and we can work through in our own realities these vibrations that we're given, because the universe, everything's vibration. Monetary value is all vibration, right? So you think about that. Yes, I do believe that altars and all those things could 100% be, but it's how your intention is setting that. If they said if you throw cinnamon out your door and expecting that the lottery is going to show up,
you can't just light a money attracting candle across your fingers and sit there and wait. You have to go out and work for it. You have to take,
and gratitude. That's the one other thing is. When you do receive your abundance or whatever it is that you've asked for, it's going, thank you for bringing me this abundance, and thank you for allowing me to trust the process, and I will continue to work through this, and you know, and it's every day. You know, every day, if you wake up and say, today's the day I want to attract abundance, I need help financially. Every day you wake up and you do that. It might be a day from now, 2 days from now, might be a week, might be a month. It will come.
It will.
In the right time, in the right way. And I have seen it even for myself. Being in the store, you know, it's been a very challenging, time for the last, 6 or 8 months. And I had to trust, and every day I talk about abundance, and I thank the universe, and then we have like all this amazing energies coming through, and I always say, thank you. Thank you for a great day. Some days, maybe my sales days weren't really great, but I had some really great connections of people that came in that really needed to hear a message, and that walked out going, they felt different. I'm like, that's the abundance today. Today was abundance, was reminding me of the people that we're here to heal, right? So I'm still thankful for that. Yes. Did I have a great sales day? No, but that's okay. I had a really great people day.
Exactly.
And that was still made me feel very abundant and whole, right?
Exactly.
It's always going through that. And people just have to, I find that there's not a lot of gratitude in the world, right? No. Everyone, they do all this stuff. There's not that gratitude for themselves. Yeah. Like, wow, be grateful to yourself for the healing journey you've done. Yeah. For the work that you've done.
All the work you did to get the abundance that you were seeking.
It's okay. Like, it's okay. It's not egotistical to say to yourself, I'm really proud of yourself for doing the work, for owning your responsibility in situations, for choosing to find a new healing journey and working through this. Be proud of yourself.
Exactly.
So many people, there's so much, they put so much weight in these situations, but they don't actually show gratitude for their own self.
Exactly. 100%. And it's one thing I always teach is self. You have to forgive self before you can forgive anybody else. 100%. So gratitude goes the same way. Right? Yes. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. I don't know whoever said that that's selfish is wrong. Yeah. They're wrong, because it's not. No, it really isn't.
It's okay and we need to change that to your own self, right? Yeah. Be like, man, you really rocked it. You worked through that situation and you came out the other side.
Look at
you healed and you grew.
Keep going.
Right?
Yeah.
Self high five.
Yeah. Self high five. Love it. Yes. Well, I hope that you guys had a great listen today on this podcast. We could keep going on and on and on for hours and hours, but we will save it for episode 2. Right. I really hope that you guys take something away from our little chit chat today. Santana and I often go back and forth with these things. So I hope you join us on our Facebook page and start interacting with us and create that community so that we can keep in touch with you guys. Yeah. So that will be a wrap for today's episode. Thank you for listening to Enlighten Up. We hope you're feeling more inspired and connected to that universe. And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Stay curious, keep exploring, and don't be afraid to sprinkle a little sass on your spiritual path.
So if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, leave us a review, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on the cosmic wisdom we've got coming out your way. Until next time, stay enlightened and keep shining bright.
Join us for our next episode where we'll be talking about trauma triggers and the buttons. Until then, stay enlightened and follow us for more.